AceSpartan here for Endless Upkeep. We also have AquaSniper and NerdboyWonder here. The Gatecrash Prerelease happened this weekend. We had 2 days here locally, and it went pretty well. Probably the funnest pre-release I played in. And there's a bunch of different guilds. We had 5 guilds, obviously, and I chose Demir. I like black-blue. My first day went really well. I got 5th, and my second day I got 20th. So.
How many people did we have both days? Like 29 on
29 the first day and 22 the second.
Yeah, so it was up and down for me. But what were your guys' guild choices?
First day I went Orzhov. I didn't even get to play Orzhov. That was like the hard part for me. Was like you pick your guild, you want to play it. I was pushing it for a while, then I realized this deck's not gonna work. I started looking at other colors, and I was like, you know what? I had some decent evolve, decent blood rush. I made a Naya deck. Red, white, red, green, white.
Yeah, you weren't even playing in this set. He was playing shards, guys.
Yeah.
You got the wrong set.
It wasn't even completely. It was completely different. Now, the only reason I even kept white too was just for some good removal. That's it. Like even the white was just a splash. It was mostly blue, green. I mean green, red. That was it. Day 2, I went Boros. I actually was able to play Boros. My Boros pull was decent, but I felt a little too top heavy. That's why I think it was a little. I did okay, but I didn't do as good as other Boros.
Yeah, and both days I went Boros. I won day 1. I took it. You can actually watch the video on YouTube. It's posted. And day 2, I topped 8. I just barely made top 8.
You hit 7th.
Yeah, I hit 7th. Boros also. Day 1, it was pretty much the perfect curve. It played like an RDW deck. Day 2, even though my pulls, I had not as great selection of pulls as I had my day 1, but I still had more lower drops in my count. But for some reason, the deck felt like just shoving all my heavy drops, my game enders, every first early turn, regardless of my mulligans. So variance happens, so it wasn't too bad.
Sounds good. What cards stood out to you guys the most? What pretty much was your MVP card that won you help games, and what cards did you see that other people were playing that really did affect the game?
For me, day 1 was Cruel Charm. Like going into it, I saw Cruel Charm as a charm that like the least, like the worst of all the charms. Like it just seemed like it was. It looked like it had some limited playability, but it actually won me games for that first ability that said nothing without flying can block. Pretty much, I'd play Cruel Charm and I'd all out swing, and it would give me the game most of the time. I was glad I put it in. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a Cruel Charm. I'm playing the colors. Let's try it, and it won me about 3 games. I won because of Cruel Charm. So that was a card that I'm glad I ended up playing with. And day 2, when I was playing Boros, I had actually pulled 2 Gift Orozawas. That aura is ridiculously mean. +1/+1 flying and lifelink. And I had enough. I had about like 3 creatures with vigilance, and I always made sure to put on one of them. So I had the and they're usually the knights, like the knights with vigilance, either a 2/2 or a 2/4. And so I always I was hitting for 3 almost every time, gaining life, and still had a really good blocker. Like those 2 cards like just gave me the game almost anytime I played them. And when cards I played against for the Simic, for the promo, like the Fathom Mage was actually really good. Like it came out weak, but once they started drawing extra cards, it really helped them. And that what was it? The one that gets +6/+6 to all the creatures, the Expel?
The Biomass?
Yeah, the Biomass. I lost once to that. I was winning. I was at 18 life. They tapped me out and did that for 5. That was a play I didn't see and came out of nowhere. That card was like, I was impressed. I was like, wow, you stole this game completely from me, but good job. That was pretty much Scoots. I didn't really play many Demir players, so it was mostly Simic and Boros people that I played. So those are the cards that popped out to me.
For day 1, I actually had like a suite of cards that pretty much were winning the games. With Boros, it just seems like it's not one card that's going to stand out. It's pretty much the amount of value you can have on the board for your board presence. I drafted 2 Wojak Halberders. They're the 3/2 guys with Battalion. The Battalion gives them first strike. Pretty much the first strike doesn't necessarily matter most of the time. The reason I draft them because there are 2 drop that are 3/2. So when most of the people there were playing aggro, it became a numbers game. You're pretty much playing math. Like, it's just a math game. So it was Wojciech Carburetor. I had 2 of them. They saw play every game on day 1. So it was 3-2. Then surprising for a lot of people, even though they say he's going to be crap in constructed, but he's actually probably going to be good, is a Hellraiser Goblin. He's a 2/2, 3-drop. He makes all your guys have haste. I played him how I normally would have played him at in constructed. He was never a guy that you would play if you needed your blocker. You pretty much used him to set up your next turn. The only time I played him for the attack is when I knew I had a clean hit and I can push burst damage through. He normally was my guy that set up my turn 4. And or turn 4 or turn 5, because sometimes I just played another guy was Warmind Infantry. His battalion mattered. He goes from being a 2/3 to a 4/3 with his battalion triggers off. So and he's a 3-drop, so he was another guy that perfect. So you can pretty much set up your Wojciech Carburetor, Hellraiser Goblin, and then Warmind Infantry, and then your turn 5, 5 or 6. If you get the turn 6, you get your Foundry Champion, your pre-release promo for Boros. You drop him with Hellraiser Goblin on the board, and you have the rest of your guys' board. You should win the game every time. But normally for Boros it was a sweep. For day 2, my pulls were completely, for pretty much nowhere near the same amount that I got. I had a lot of 2-drops, but the thing that was stealing me games was Boros Charm, that double strike, especially when you're behind, and then you can just do a bunch of pumps and then double strike. That I stole a game. Like, pretty much that would have decided whether I was top 8 or not in that. Problem cards for day 1, Madcap Skills. In the final against Robert, round 2, we were going back and forth, and he was in the lead the whole time. And I had a Blind Obedience out, mainly just to extort, but I had a really bad hand. He was ahead through most of the game, and it was mainly, he was taking quarters of my life every swing. Because of that, he had it on a 2/2 guy and make it a 5/2, and so I really couldn't do anything until I pulled a Foundry Champion. And then what pretty much took me out of the final on day 2 was Skynet Legionnaire. My opponent, who ended up taking the tournament, managed to pull, he said, 3 out of his packs, and a 2/2 flying haste when there isn't a lot of removal in this set is ridiculous in limited. Like he managed to always get 2 out on the field, and I didn't have a homing missile this time, or homing lightning from the white pack, so there was no way I could have got rid of it. It literally was just a damage race every time I played him, and if I hadn't pulled, I was always a man on the board short of beating him at both threads. So other than that, yeah, it was just pretty much those set of cards.
And one last question. Now that we've played Gatecrash, how do you guys feel about the set?
The set, like, there's cards, it didn't change too much. Like, I knew coming in that this set was going to be really good for limited. There's those little more cards that, now that played, that seem a little overlooked now, that possibly have chance to see him play now. But it still overall looks like this set was mostly made for limited and for multiplayer, casual, commander. There's still a lot of cards that do that, but the set is actually a lot more fun in limited than compared to Ravnica, just because Ravnica had a lot of bombs. It had a lot of key cards that if you got them, you almost were guaranteed to win, like, especially like, the rats. It's like a pack rat. Like, if you got a pack rat, it was so hard to kill that you're almost guaranteed to win. But in Gatecrashers, it doesn't seem to be this one key card that if you get, you're going to win. It's more like you have to get, a deck, good cards overall to pull it off. So it looks a lot more rounded out for this set. So it should be a lot more fun doing drafts and seals for Gatecrash. That's looks fun later on.
Yeah, just to reiterate, yeah, it's mainly draft heavy.
Yeah.
Very draft heavy, but also it's just alternate format in general. There's not too many cards that are going to be pulling for constructed, you can tell.
Yeah.
Mainly, like, they have the primordial cycle for EDH, so there's a lot of just casual friendly stuff, especially Distort, that's completely just casual friendly.
Yeah.
So for multiplayer, I think Gatecrash will have a bigger impact soon as Innistrad rotates out, because there's too many cards in Innistrad that are competing for slots with Gatecrash. So I think as soon as Innistrad's power cards pretty much just cycle out for standard, they'll see impact. For eternal formats. No, there wasn't too much. There's really nothing in Gatecrash that you're gonna see like in modern or anything. I just think in terms of constructed for Innistrad and RTR, we're just a little too spoiled with power cards. You know, we had the uncountable cycle, and then then you had like M13 with Dragtusk, who sees standard play, but like for like modern formats, and you have Snapcaster, Resto Angel, you have Hell Rider, you have even Huntsmaster might start seeing play in Jund because Bloodbraid Elf is banned. So like you just see a lot of just power cards at Innistrad that Gatecrash in general can't compete with right now. But I think there's certain cards you might want to just hold on to just a little bit for next standard.
Alright, well, thank you guys. That's it. We had our Gatecrash pre-release and it was fun. Like and comment down below. We'd like to hear your story about your pre-release, see how you went, see what cards you pulled. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel, LS Upkeep. We have our videos for our finals, our pre-release finals, day 1 and day 2, and some footage of just of random stuff going on during our pre-release. Also check out our website, lsupkeep.com, and yeah, subscribe. So we'll catch you later. Peace.